Let's complete the app by adding the button functionality so that when you click the Book Now button, a URL opens in the user's default browser. In your constructor, find the line of code where you create the button. On the next line, type button.addActionListener and pass in this. We're using the same handler to handle the combo box event and the button event, so what we're going to need to do is create some way to differentiate between the two. To do that, go to the next line and type btn.setActionCommand, and then we can pass in a string that identifies the name of the action for this particular object. So I'm going to type click, all lowercase. So now when the action command is click in the action performed method, I know that the button was clicked and it wasn't that the combo box was moved. Keep in mind, if you're going to have many events that you're handling, it's better to create constants than using direct strings like I'm using here. But for what we're doing in this tutorial, a standard string will suffice. So in action perform, scroll down and under int I, create a few extra new lines and create an if statement in there. In the if statement, we're going to see if the action that was performed was indeed the click action. So type e.getActionCommand. After the parentheses, type dot equals. Then in the parentheses for equals, we're just passing the string click, all lowercase. Make sure it matches the value that you passed in btn.setActionCommand above, which it does. And inside of the if statement, we're going to create a try catch block. So just create that real quick. And the exception that we're going to catch is just a standard exception. We'll call this EX. And inside of the catch block, all we'll do is just print that there was an error. So system.out.println, and in the parentheses for println, just pass in the string error loading URL. In the try block, we'll load the URL. So when the button was clicked, we're going to launch that URL. And to open up the user's default browser, type java.awt.desktop, capital D, .getDesktop, capital D again, .browse, and you can see in the code hinting here that this launches the default browser to display a URI. So in there we need to create a new URI. So new space URI, and in the parentheses for new URI, type links.get, and then pass in I. So it will correspond to the current value that's selected in the combo box. And that's it. So save the file and go over to appmain.java and test this, and you should see the app launch, and click Book Now, and you'll see that your browser opens, and if you look at the URL, you're getting the correct URL that was from the XML. So you can go through the different ones and test it if you'd like. And the main thing you're looking for at the top of the screen is that the URL matches the URL from the XML. So once you get that working, you can see that you can add support in your apps to open up links from XML data that comes from a database. I'll tab back to Eclipse. So remember, you can add a button listener by using the simple addActionListener command. And if you have different events that you're listening for in the same handler, use the setAction command and pass in a unique string for each particular event. That way, inside of action performed, you can check to see which command happened and handle the event accordingly.